What's up, everybody? You are in tune to Marvelous Talk. We got this new segment that we're doing. We are heroes. We're definitely going to talk about, some of the stuff that in the superhero land. Shout out to Max. Definitely be with us on next Wednesday. Moving forward. And I got my co-host, my man, my mellow, Big G. What's popping, man?
Man, what's popping, my man? The comic book world is sort of going topsy turvy right now because the DC's trying to mash the gas. We're trying to put pressure on Marvel, but I think that they might have hit something, but we'll see. We're gonna talk about it during the
Yeah,
show.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. They really are trying to put pressure for real, for real. 2022, they like announced it. It's their year, that's
Mhm.
gonna be really hard because the multiverse of madness is phenomenal. So, but anyway, if you like the content that you're hearing, make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe on Twitch and YouTube. Every time that we do go live, you will get notifications. And as we grow the channel, man, once we hit our first 150 in subscribers, we will definitely be giving away some cool things for you and yours. Man, listen, I just want you to know before we get into this, we are going to definitely get into this. And once again, you are in tune to Marvelous Talk. And man, listen, let's start it off. Let's get it. Start this thing off right. Listen, we got news, Daredevil news, and I'm excited about this one, man. We're gonna have the next sighting of Charlie Cox, who is Matt Murdock, and we're actually gonna have him full blown costume. And She-Hulk episodes 8 and 9. What do you think about this, Big G? What do you think about having Daredevil in the She-Hulk series? And do they actually cross in the comic book?
Oh yeah, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, the having Charlie Cox character from the Netflix series into She-Hulk makes all the sense in the world. Matt Murdock, the character, is a lawyer. Jennifer Walters, the character, is a lawyer in their non-superhero lifestyles, right? So it makes all the sense in the world to have these characters cross paths. But because even more so, it's canon in the comic book. One of the biggest runs for She-Hulk was the Amnesty series that they put together to make the Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner, not guilty of all of his crimes. And so when I'm telling you that the world of superheroes came together to bid for Bruce Banner not to be guilty, that was a huge storyline. But Jennifer Walters wasn't the person that defended Bruce Banner, who's her own cousin. The person that defended Bruce Banner in the comic book when they put him on trial was Matt Murdock. So Matt Murdock, in his own right, is a great lawyer, a great defense lawyer that this can push stuff through to be able to help him. But I think it also then gives the MCU an opportunity to build out the character and the story of the Daredevil, because we know that there's so many characters tied to Hell's Kitchen, right? We do know that Jennifer Walters is a huge character from the comic book, from the Avengers, and even more so the West Coast Avengers. And we do know that part of the storyline is going to take place out in the San Francisco area. But I look for them to shift the attention back from the California, San Francisco area over to the New York area and give some homage to Hell's Kitchen. And so it's a perfect way to segue Hell's Kitchen Daredevil characters into the MCU.
Man, I like that. I like the idea of us crossing platform and bring. We know we're gonna see him in Echo. We definitely know we're gonna see him in other uh, episodes of Disney Plus. But having Daredevil back, I think just feels good, man. Daredevil is one of, and you know, I like Charlie Cox as an actor. I
Yeah,
like Charlie Cox as an actor, and having him back into the MCU, I think is really a great thing, man.
I got a wish list for the Daredevil character too, as far as the MCU versus the Netflix, man. I would love to see Charlie Cox's character Daredevil in his original yellow uniform versus his all red uniform. If he could go the yellow Daredevil uniform with the DD in the middle and the black like trunk parts on the bottom with the shoes and the skirt area, man, that'll go hard, man. You know, so I could see them doing that to sort of like reset, and then in later on renditions when he gets his own like show and series that they flip him from the yellow outfit to the red, because I've
And you
heard some
see,
stuff about She-Hulk that they're going to be more comic booky than any the current MCU series and or the stuff we've seen on the big screen. I've heard that it's going to be really, really comic booky, you know, as far as the looks for the characters.
now you see, G is the one that would be talking about original suits. You know, this comic book guy is talking about original suits. Now, listen, if you have not, I promised you guys on Wednesday night show. If you have not had the opportunity to go to the movies to see the Batman, please, this is where you have to get off the exit. You have to go ahead, get off, you know, come back, rewatch it after you actually do, because there are spoilers ahead. Okay. Definitely. And I got an opportunity to see the sparkly dude. I was really you know, I was definitely shocked by what I saw. I was definitely shocked by what I saw. I did not expect to walk out of this movie giving it an 8.5 solid.
Mm.
Solid. 8.5 out of 10, solid. I mean,
Mm.
there was no holes, there was no gaps. I literally, he is number 3 in the Batman list behind Michael Keaton, definitely behind Christian Bale.
Mm.
He's number 3. He was an awkward Bruce Wayne, right? So you have to know this, and Big G, tell me if I'm wrong. The character has to be able to nail the alias. If he's not nailing the alias, he's not being a good character. What do you think about that? Like, you know, to play Superman, you got to be a great Clark Kent. To
Right.
play Batman, you have to be a good Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yeah, for any character, the whole premise of the individual character to be built out as far as the hero, he has to be the original character. That's why you've seen so much success in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe, because they're picking characters that can play the baseline character versus playing the superhero. And you'll
Right.
see that big time with Isaac playing moving forward with that Moon Knight. That guy's going to knock that character out of the park.
Yeah, man. I like it. And so with you know, Robert actually he pulled off an awkward Bruce Wayne. It was like if Bruce Wayne was awkward, that would be what he was like. You know what I mean? But Bruce Wayne is more suave, put together, you know, billionaire playboy kind of thing. Him and Iron Man are kind of around the same degree of pompousness.
Yeah.
If I could say that. They're both entitled in their actions and the way that they act. Only difference is, you know, Bruce Wayne's is more of an act to actually keep up appearance, and Iron Man is really who he is.
Yeah, Tony Stark tells the world that he's Iron Man, where Bruce Wayne doesn't want anybody to know that he's Batman.
Yeah, definitely. And so, you know, you see him being socially awkward. They actually sold that to me. I believed it. You know what I mean? I believed it 110%. And I was like, wow, okay. And then on top of what Robert Pattinson did, you know, with the playing of Batman, the Bruce Wayne, he was a solid Batman. It was believable. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, beating the drumsticks off of people.
Mm.
I was like, yeah, okay. Oh, I could get with this. I could get with this. You talk about me and violence. Yeah, I could get with this. He
Yeah.
beat the drumsticks off of people. Now you got to understand, this is set year 2 of him into the whole crime fighting and him becoming Batman, right? So this
Right.
is year 2, right? And he has a lot of his gadgets and gadgets together, but at the same time, yeah, we wasn't set on the name yet. He called himself Vengeance,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because he was still so hell bent on making people pay for his childhood, you know, and that's Batman. You know, Batman is a traumatic superhero. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He was formed out of trauma. That's him. He want to beat everybody up
Right.
out of trauma. You know.
Well, from what I've seen, heard, and read too, year 2 for Batman is Ra's al Ghul, him transforming from being more Ra's al Ghul, which is like I'm gonna knock everybody out, kill everybody, and take everybody out, versus settling in the fact of him being a costume hero. So that's why I read and heard that the whole ideology of him being vengeance versus being Batman, and then at the end him becoming Batman.
Yes,
Was
and that's
because
exactly
he's Ra's al Ghul. He's Ra's al Ghul's version of coming to Gotham and like cleaning it out versus him being the Batman character.
Facts. And definitely he was just saying, I am vengeance. I am vengeance. And at the end, he became Batman. Now let's talk about characters. Man, I won't give you a whole bunch of the plot of what happened. I'm just gonna hit the characters. The Riddler, y'all, they did that. They did that. The Riddler wasn't your Jim Carrey, riddle me this type dude. He was more dark, and the movie itself is darker. You know what I'm saying? The movie itself was darker. And I gotta say this again to everybody who was watching Wednesday night. Yes, I like the sparkly dude. He just wasn't sparkling. I was glad about that. If I would have saw him twinkling or sparkling at any point, it would have been some problems for me. I would have, I seen some people get up and leave. I thought I would have did that. You know what I mean? But thoroughly enjoyed it. So the Riddler was definitely true to the Riddler. More maniacal, definitely more dark, and these are these characters. Penguin, definitely dark.
You mean Chester Cobblepot. Chester Cobblepot wasn't necessarily the Penguin until after some things happened in the Dark Knight series. Same difference with
well, they actually
Riddler.
The way that
Riddler's last name was Enigma. He found out that he was adopted, and then eventually took on his namesake, which is Edward Enigma, which is the Riddler. So from what I read, that sort of ties to the storyline as well.
So you're correct on the Riddler. The Riddler was an orphan, right? Definitely an orphan, and brought up in an orphanage, and that's how they sold that story. But then when we talk about the Penguin, not so much. The Penguin has already been deformed, and he's a crony, and definitely is you're going to see the beginning stages of him.
Okay.
We haven't seen him yet. He ain't full, but he's there in the movie.
Okay.
You also got Two-Face. You got Two-Face at the end.
Oh wow!
Definitely was something I did not expect.
Okay.
You got Two-Face, and then Catwoman. I'm gonna tell you, Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah.
100.
So she's Selena Kyle. Is that who she is?
Zoe Kravitz is Selena Kyle. And I'm going to tell you something. They're going to do, I'm just going to tell you right now, they're going to spin off because the chemistry with Zoe and Robert sold it. I mean, you were like, yeah, this is nice. They did that. Definitely. She let's put it like this. She was a better Catwoman than Halle Berry, right? And I'm talking about acting wise. And she can hold her own stunts wise.
Right.
Definitely. She's believable in that role. I didn't think that I would like gravitate to her like that, but Zoe is very believable in the role of Catwoman. Definitely.
Right.
And then So you had her cat, and then Commissioner Gordon. I
Mhm.
like the fact that they made Commissioner Gordon a black man. I think it was super dope on
Mhm.
how they kind of positioned him
Mhm.
to be just a regular detective. Because get this, they sold Batman this time as a detective.
Mhm.
They focus more on the detective aspect of Batman, which I don't think has been seen in any other movie, which is what made this a solid 8.5 because they showed you the detective aspect of Batman. And Batman is nothing without that detective aspect.
Right.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
but in the thing is, what Batman in the comic book is concerned, right? The idea of Batman maturating into a character goes up as Commissioner Gordon goes up, right? They are synonymously tied to each other as far as character arc. Because you got to remember that Commissioner Gordon's daughter is Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon later on becomes Batgirl, and she's later with the Killing the Joker series, and she's injured because of some traumatic things that happened to her, and then she becomes the Oracle and all that, whatever else. And then, like the Jason Todd issue, as with Commissioner Gordon, that story arc of him has to go up if you're going to have the story arc of Bruce Wayne go up because they've been tied together from the onset.
That
Gordon actually could have prevented in a possible way the death of the Waynes. But because and as far as the comic book arc is concerned, there were some choices he made that he should have done to prevent the Waynes from getting killed, and he didn't. So there's some guilt stuff that, as far as the comic book, tied with Gordon with Bruce Wayne. So that whole character arc, man, is huge to me. That's just what I'm thinking.
and I like the fact that you brought up his daughter becoming Batgirl, because I think once again this is a series that I think they're actually going to play out. They're going to use him, and I think they're going to probably use him in 3, 4, man, probably like 3 movies. Probably I'd say 3 movies, and maybe in another one in the group up. But when you look at it overall, focusing on the detective aspect of Batman
Mm-hmm.
made this movie different.
Right,
They
right,
couldn't go the Dark Knight route.
right.
They couldn't do that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? They couldn't even go the Michael Keaton route. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, like I said, he was a better Batman than Ben Affleck. A better Batman than Ben Affleck. He is number 3. Sparkly dude. Sparkly dude is number 3 on my list of
So,
Batman.
so I heard a rumor too. I heard that the Alfred character is probably the best rendition of Alfred that we've seen so far on the
You
screen.
know, you know what? They make Alfred seem he is, not as much of a part. Like,
Mm.
okay, so Michael, what is his name? The last one that played in the Dark Knight series, Michael, is it Kane? I think it's
Yeah.
Michael Kane, right?
Yes.
He was a great Alfred in the sense that he was emotionally connected to Bruce,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he showed his emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
But this Alfred, which is a good call out, Big G, this Alfred actually is not just emotionally invested, but he's gangster at the same time.
Yeah,
He is,
he's a Pennyworth. He's a
yeah,
Pennyworth. And
yeah,
in the comic books, the Pennyworth is off the chain.
yes, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
so
He actually,
if you're telling me he's a Pennyworth, then yeah, they did a great
yeah,
job.
no, definitely. He actually implied the fact that he taught Batman how to fight before he actually left and became, what he was. So he taught him things in the very beginning, and so you saw Alfred in this one not only be, just the butler, but sitting there working in tandem with
Mm-hmm.
Batman, giving him, source clues and giving him clues to what was going on, right? Not
Right.
just antics, not just wisdom, but actually doing some of the Batman work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
And I think that was different about Alfred in this one, man. So I think that's a really good call out, G.
in the comic books, the Pennyworths are like CIA agents from British intelligence. So, and they have a lineage of family. Like, he's got sisters and aunts and cousins and friends of the family that are all like on this detective mode. They're CIA, FBI. His web of connection is huge for the development of the character of Bruce Wayne in the comic book. So I'm glad that they didn't like dumb him down and make him seem like he was just like a non-significant character, because every great hero has got to have multiple supports in order for them to turn into what they actually turn into. So I love the fact that they build out the Alfred Pennyworth character for Batman.
Yeah, facts. And the cars. Let's talk about the cars and the gear. The gear was kind of crude, right? But it's the second year of Batman. He don't have a lot of his great stuff, and you didn't see his guy around making them. The guy that Morgan Freeman played in The Dark Knight.
That was a made up character. That was a made up character. Yeah,
you ain't see no guy around making them. You know what I mean? Honestly. He had a lot of gadgets and gadgets, you know what I'm saying? Everyday household gadgets and gadgets that he had on it. I mean, but hey, it is what it is. His suit was bulletproof though. And let's talk about the suit before I get into the car. Second best suit.
Wow.
Second best Batman suit. It actually had the detachable batarang on his chest.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Okay.
Second best suit. Suit was phenomenal. The suit was phenomenal. I mean, I really dug it. I liked the costume designer. Didn't think I was gonna like it too much. Now there were some places where he got in and out of the suit really fast, and I don't know how he did that unless he had like a detachable button. And I mean, honestly, the thing is bulletproof. You can't put it in a backpack. Where were you hiding it, Batman? I don't know. You gotta let me know, man.
Right.
And the gist of the matter is, and he wasn't big. The other thing, I don't think they spent time working Robert Pattinson out. They really when they bring him back for another one, they need to go on and put him in the gym. They need to put him on the gym. They need to go over there and talk to Marvel and ask Marvel, what are you doing to make your guys bigger? Because my guy needs to be bigger.
Right. But Batman in the comic book is huge. He's like, he's the pinnacle of human, like as far as you can get as far as a human. He's like a soldier. He's in tip-top shape. He can take on all kind of other stuff. So maybe they was trying to show the vulnerability side of Batman. I don't know.
I mean, you can, but and like I said, I think they were highlighting the awkwardness of him. You know what I'm saying? That they were highlighting his awkwardness because that was the tie between the Riddler and Batman, was their awkward nature. We're both awkward kids, right? And that's what he was trying to focus on. And I think that's what that whole thing was. But let's get into the toys. Like the cars. The car was like a mix between Knight Rider and the Batmobile.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it was really crude. It did have the fire and the extra jump on the end, but it was more American muscle. You know what I mean? Definitely.
But in the comic book, that's really what it's supposed to be. The reason why we grew up in the era with Batman being comic booky, so like in order for Mattel and other agencies and entities like them to sell toys and stuff like that, you had to have all these gadgets and gadgets and like a crazy look with the Batmobile. But the actual issue is in the comic book, the Batmobile is like raw dog. It's like straight Punisher mode. Like I could run through a steel wall and I'm still rolling. That's the whole ideology of the Batmobile in the comic book.
So I think Big G, they made it to where it was really resilient like that. You know what I mean? And would stand a lot. I like it. I like his motorcycle better. But I don't think it was the Dark Knight motorcycle. The Dark Knight motorcycle was phenomenal. How it could swivel and change. That's different. That's on a whole nother level. But second best motorcycle. Best motorcycle. Definitely second best Batman. I mean, second best Batmobile. It was really good. I like the toys. Definitely the thing that I think we're gonna have to do with Selena Kyle and Zoe Kravitz costume we don't have to do something better with. I mean, we're gonna have to do something better with a face mask. I mean, we're gonna have to upgrade that. It was just a Scully with the face with like a little circle cut out.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Definitely we got to do something better with that. But overall, you guys, marvelous talk. Y'all out there, y'all watching, y'all was expecting me to get this review. 8.5 solid. Worth a
So,
see.
was I right? Because I didn't read or know anything about it before, we talked about it on Wednesday. Is this a story that they can build the arc out, like how you built Tony Stark out to make this team come together? Is this on par, on level with Iron Man 1? Is this
Yeah.
like where you can build the
Yeah,
story?
absolutely. It's a reboot. It's an origin, and you can build this world out for real. Like I said, I specifically said you're gonna see 2 more movies. Easy.
Okay.
You,
And then you
you're
could
gonna see
build.
2.
Could you tie other DC things into this?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And then speaking of DC, you have Black Adam coming,
Right.
right?
Correct.
You have Aquaman coming, and you have Flash coming, right?
Flashpoint. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Flashpoint movie, the Aquaman 2 movie, Black Adam, and Shazam. For
and
sure. All
they show Shazam. We forget about Shazam, but
Shazam 2.
Shazam should be done, and they should be ready to put that out sometime. I don't know when, but it should
Right.
be done right now,
Right.
right?
There's supposed to be an investors call for the DC production people here in a minute. And normally when they get a investors call, there's some trailer footage and all whatever else that's going to drop. So they're trying, from what I've read, they're trying to get ahead of the Marvel investors call, which is supposed to be coming, because everybody knows Comic-Con is coming. So, now with some of the restrictions with COVID and all that stuff getting lifted, I really look for them to blow this Comic-Con thing up huge this year. So with the investors call coming with Marvel, I from what I understand, DC's trying to do the same thing. So,
Yeah, man. Hey, definitely want to send a shout out to Isaac Rowe. Isaac Rowe watching with us, man. I know he's a Batman fan, and want to definitely say thank you for watching. But I do got to tell you, Big G, man, this is something that you're definitely gonna see evolve. I think they're gonna, marry a lot of these characters together, and you're gonna see another Justice League. You're gonna see another Justice League. I'm not really impressed about the things that I saw with the trailer for, or the teaser for Aquaman. I think Aquaman's gonna lose some of its luster in this next one, if it ever had any. You know what I mean?
Well, Aquaman, to me, in my opinion, is the best DC thing, character, or title, or thing done as far as digital effects and actually telling a story. I think Aquaman has done an outstanding job. So if they're going to reboot it, why not give, like you said, character arcs and have them all sort of tie together? They're how I feel personally. They're chasing Marvel. This is all just a big chase and a big trying to catch up. And I don't know if they can, but at least you're going to get some semblance to where they're going to like try to settle down. Okay, we're going to start tying this stuff together. It's going to make sense and all whatever else, because the MCU is off the chain, But I think they're still going to struggle until they get a guy who's like the godfather for them. When the smartest thing that ever happened for the MCU was them to say, Feige, you're in control. And once they did that, now he gave his directors homage. He let them build up storylines.
Here's the thing about that, Big G. The thing about that, Big G. There's not another Kevin Feige out there, bro.
Oh, I think there is.
No. The reason why I say that is that in order for you to find a Kevin Feige, you have to find somebody who actually embraces not just the genre, but the stories. And then after they embrace the genre and the stories, they have to be willing to work with other people and allow those other people to bring out the world, to kind of pound out the worlds that each one of these people live in and play it. And you have to be comfortable supervising all of that, right?
Right. So I believe that there is. I believe that the guy that DC should go and get and be aggressive in getting him is James Gunn. I think that if DC is aggressive, we're going to get James Gunn and giving James Gunn the creative issue to build out the storyline for DC. And then when they start canonizing stories and he's the guy that's in control, I think he's comfortable enough as a director to allow other people to tell their story, but still stay within the continuity of the story. The reason why I give him that versatility is because what he did by switching from Guardians on the Marvel side to coming over and doing DC stories and then going back to Marvel. He showed, and see, Kevin Feige was like that when he first started out. Feige worked both sides of the track. You know, he was doing animation stuff with MCU. He was doing stuff over in DC. Then he came back to Marvel. And then they were like, okay, from a creative standpoint, this guy gets it. So I think that if DC is smart as a title and, you know, all whatever else, they're going to land a guy like a James Gunn. I think that they could do it, but that's just me.
Yeah. So, but still, the element, I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I just don't think the first element I think could be done. The second one, I don't believe so. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that that person is gonna be good with allowing everybody else to build out these worlds. Yeah. You know what I mean? All Kevin Feige does is you bring that story back to him, and he says yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Well, he puts his stamp of approval on it, right?
This is the thing about Feige, right? And I got to point this out too, because I know I talk about Feige a lot on the show. Feige made a determination and decision as far as story arcs, who was everything built around. When he made the decision from the beginning that Iron Man was going to be the guy they built the whole 10-year run about, I mean, even though we had all these depth and characters and all this stuff, that first 10-year run was about Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man. It started with him and it ended
with him. It was his whole character arc. You saw the whole thing.
Right. So I heard a rumor that this story arc that we're seeing now is about Cumberbatch, is about Doctor Strange. Everything we're going to see is he's the central guy driving the car, right? So that's why you're going to see all this multiverse and all this other stuff. Doctor Strange's story arc is driving the car, right? And I think Feige made that decision, even with some of the new titles that's being tied to the MCU. So I know on the DC side, that's the decision you have to make. The decision you got to make is what character's driving the car. Am I trying to sell Aquaman? Am I trying to sell Batman? Am I trying to sell Superman? Who's the guy that's driving the car? And so if they do that, then it's easy to build the story out, because think about it from the MCU standpoint, by him saying, okay, Tony Stark's my guy, and I started in with him, it made it easy. And we already, the rumors are that it's Cumberbatch, but we can already see it. Look at all the titles that's already jumped off. It's really much about Doctor Strange, at this point in the game. So, moving forward, I'm anxious to see who the next person who they build the story around with the MCU is. But I think without a shadow of a doubt, just with the titles we've seen, all of this is about Cumberbatch. That's just my thinking.
So here's another thing, though, G. Here's another thing that's gonna bless you. And I saw the Doctor Strange trailer in the movie.
Yeah, really?
Bro.
Yeah.
So when he went before the Illuminati, there were some things that was a little different that I couldn't see on just, regular computer screen or regular phone screen. Yeah. The guy who's walking this way, I didn't see it before. He's holding something.
Yeah.
That I thought that was strange at first.
Yeah.
That might not be Doctor Strange, bro.
I said that. I said that going all along. I said all along. I've been calling that they're going to get as close to the original Illuminati as they possibly can get.
That might not be Doctor Strange. I don't know who that is holding something.
Yeah.
But he was holding something. And I'm wondering, is that Mordo? But I don't know. I mean, this person it looked like they had a cape and they were holding like a stick or a staff or something, because you saw it when it moved.
Well,
right?
So the guy that has the cape and holds the staff, he's not a member of the so-called the Illuminati from what we know from the comic books, but he could definitely tie to this storyline as Dr. Voodoo. Dr. Voodoo's got a cape and a staff.
But could it be? Could it be? I'm just asking. Could this be Kang?
It could be. It could be. Kang could be a member of the Illuminati.
Bro, I'm sitting here like, who is that?
Right.
Like, I was like, wait a minute. I was so convinced that was Superior Strange walking across the stage. I was like, yeah, that's Superior Strange. Okay, I got it. And that's why he bugging. No, that don't look like Doctor Strange now at all. And maybe I'm missing it. But hey, man, when you get a chance to see that on the big screen, a lot of the details that we missed were like you get a chance to really see it. You get a chance to really, really see it. And here's another thing. Wanda's statement makes her sound very bitter.
As far as her comparing herself to Stephen Strange?
Yeah, you paint outside the line basically, and you're a hero for it. When I do it, I'm a villain. You know what I mean? So it sounds like.
So let me ask you a question. When people feel like that, we're just talking about in the natural, people actually feeling like that, them being a villain versus being a hero. A lot of times, those are not introverted thoughts. Those are things that's fueled by what's going on outside of them and around them, right? Only sometimes people think that they did the right things based on their internal choice, but how everybody reacts to their internal choice.
I mean, Sean, right? I mean, that's the hypocrite. That's hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? You judge yourself by your intentions and everybody else by their actions, right?
Right. So if Wanda, and the reason why I'm saying it is this: if Wanda Maximoff feels like she's the villain, somebody's telling her she's the villain. I think internally she did the right thing, right? As far as like her going through what she was going through with her kids and all. Now, her taking possession of those people, that was a little off. But as far as like
over the line, you crossed the line, Wanda.
Right,
you crossed the line.
Right, but her dealing with her grief,
people.
Right, her dealing with her grief. Okay, I get it. So the
you
issue,
can't use people as action figures. She had a whole big old action figure thing.
Yeah, she had a whole town, right?
Yeah, so a whole town full of action figures.
Right, but I think that somebody's telling her. I think somebody's telling her.
The person that I believe told her that, I believe that scene that we see, and that's why I bring it up, is after her confrontation with herself. Because who better to sell you on a mind mess than yourself? You talk yourself into a lot of stuff. So when you have a conversation where Wanda has a conversation with herself, and Wanda said, you know, and get it, she's stroking her face, and nobody understands you like me. I bet these are the words that's going on. And you know, people say you're the villain, but we're not the villain because we're doing this and we're doing that. So you came here trying to stop me, but you should be on my side. You know, that whole conversation. I believe that you're right. I believe that you're right. Somebody did tell her she was the villain, and who it was herself.
Right, but and even in the trailers for Stephen Strange, right, we see what they got anytime they create a statue of somebody, that means they ego stroke you, right? So Stephen Strange, the Superior Strange, is supposed to be the super great hero. He's the one that came up with the concept 14,605,000, and there's only one way to fix it, right? You see what I'm saying? So he's been made into a hero. Wanda has not been made into the hero. She's always been, even from the beginning with her powers, she's been marginal. So I really do. I don't know if it's herself. I think there's a character behind it that's driving and telling Wanda, you're bad, you're making bad decisions, you're doing everything wrong. This is all about you messing up.
But how powerful is that version of Wanda? She don't need nobody behind her. She's already off the chain. You know what I'm saying?
But she still lacked confidence. Wanda.
No, not the Wanda who's whooping everybody behind and got her face tore up. Not that Wanda. Okay. Not that Wanda at all. You know what I'm saying? That Wanda cold, she walk around barefooted. like Maxwell on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
She
so
she
you think
handling folks.
so you think that the Scarlet Witch rendition that we saw at the end of WandaVision and the one that was flipping through the dark hole is not the one we're going to get. The one we're going to get that's like the super powerful one is the one walking around barefooted, is just hauling everybody out.
That's
Who is actually the one that was drinking the coffee in the at the end of the WandaVision.
that's the
She
one.
wasn't in full get up, you know.
That's the one I believe is the dark. I believe she is in a different universe, and she's the Dark Wanda who's done expanded, and her powers are so cold. Just like you said, she don't need no uniform or no garb because she know who she is at that point. You know what I'm saying? Our version of Wanda is just learning who she is. That version of Wanda knows that, hey, look, I'm not to be messed with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm coming in here, I'm about to haul you out. I don't need no shoes, I don't need no gadgets. I'm just about to haul you all the way out. And like I said, when I saw the when you saw the actual trailer on screen, bro, you see, man, hey, they moved some furniture around. It wasn't just no, hey, we came in here and we had a little light tussle. They moved some furniture around. They got into it for a second.
Right.
And she made her bow down. She made her look, hey, lay your little old narrow tail down. You know, after you get a hold to your child and you tell your child, hey, lay your little narrow tail down. You know what I'm saying? Lay your little narrow tail. And that's what it looked like she did.
So I heard, now this is the some rabbit hole information I heard. I heard that the day that Moon Knight drops on Disney Plus, they are going to drop a huge trailer 2 for Doctor Strange. And they said that because what everybody's starting to find out is that the original script for Doctor Strange is not what you're going to see on the big screen. They said that there's reshoots going on literally like all the way up until the time that the movie's cut and goes. Because they said that the creative force of Doctor Strange wanted to confuse everybody so that way nobody knew what was going on. So I heard that there's a trailer that's coming that the people that actually shot the movie don't even know is going to be in there because there's so many cameos and reshoots that's going on and everybody's totally confused about what's going on with this actual movie because the movie that they went to film and shoot is not what's going to come out on the big screen. I think that's genius because what's the issue that's going on? The issue that's going on is there's people like me that are deep dives and plot leaking and behind the scenes with cameras and snapping pictures and going on to different stuff and looking and trying to find out information about it. So I think that Kevin finally figured it out. And he did it somewhat with Spider-Man. And I think he's done ramped it up to a whole nother level with this Doctor Strange. That the art of 3-card money and confusion has become on beast mode. And I think the movie that we're going to see on the big screen for Doctor Strange is going to be completely different than what everybody thinks as far as their theories are concerned. That's what I think.
You could be right. I know that there are reshoots happening and they are reshooting. So you definitely could be right, man.
Right. Today's 3/5 and the movie comes out 5/3. How you gonna be reshooting, in 2 months, basically 2 months, 3/5 to 5/3?
Yeah, they'll probably be, I guarantee you they'll probably be shooting for, a little bit longer, maybe another 2 weeks in this month, and then they'll recut everything up and have it going. So it'll give them time enough to recut it and then mass distribute it.
Right.
I mean, honestly, Big G, bro, like I'm trying to taper my excitement, but I don't know if I can do it, man. I don't know if I can hold out. They're gonna have to do something to distract my mind from, because I have my expectations for this one being the best Marvel movie that we've seen. If it doesn't be that, I'm gonna be kind of, discouraged in a way, because honestly, every time I see it, I'm picking up something new that I totally missed out on. But that is our time, man. G, do you have anything you want to leave the audience with?
Oh, like I said, we didn't get an opportunity to get to Victor Von Doom today because we got some production things going on. But please, please stay tuned and watch and look. If you're a Victor Von Doom fan, we're going to do a deep dive on Victor Von Doom. It's coming shortly. It's like in production, in construction. Victor Von Doom is coming because I believe after Kang, our next big bag is Victor Von Doom.
That boy that love him some Victor Von Doom. You know this. Every time you hear him talking about Doom, Doom, Doom. I told y'all, Marvelous Talkland, I don't trust a man in a steel suit and a hoodie and a cape. It just don't look right. You're not a Jedi. If you listen, that's Darth Vader. If you got on all of that, you're Darth Vader. You're not. I mean, come on, man. I don't trust you.
Victor Von Doom it makes Darth Vader look like a Girl Scout.
Now I'm just like I said. Listen, I just want you to know on site. Victor Von Doom, his new name is on site. That's what I'll fight him on site. If I have power, hey, you getting it on site. I'm serving you on site. I ain't gonna ask no questions. We'll need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I know you here. The only thing you could be possibly trying to do here is cause a whole bunch of chaos. So therefore, I'm whooping your behind on site.
Yes,
it's
sir.
Going down. It's going down. Listen, if you like the podcast, make sure you like and subscribe on on Facebook, subscribe on Twitch and YouTube. So every time that we go live, you can definitely be here and catch up with us. That's our time. And we are heroes. We are out of here. Peace.